What does it actually cost to find out if a generational talent can win it all? Right now in Baltimore, the answer is being negotiated in real dollars. $300 million of them. That is the number being talked about for the next contract of Lamar Jackson. A number that would make him, by total value, one of the highest paid players to ever put on a football uniform. 2 MVP awards already sit on the shelf.
23 AP Most Valuable Player presented by Invisalign is Lamar Jackson.
He has rewritten what the quarterback position is allowed to look like. He has turned a franchise that spent 2 decades defined by its defense into one of the most explosive offenses in football.
They break the huddle quickly. Jackson end zone. Touchdown! Zay Flowers!
But here's the thing money can't buy: a championship. And as the Ravens and Lamar Jackson circle each other in one of the most important contract negotiations in franchise history, there is a much bigger question sitting underneath the dollar signs. A question that no extension, no signing bonus, no guaranteed money can answer for him. Can Lamar Jackson actually win the one thing that has eluded him his entire career? To understand why this contract conversation carries so much weight, you have to understand exactly what Lamar Jackson has already done. Drafted in the first round out of Louisville, where he had already won the Heisman Trophy, Jackson arrived in Baltimore as a question mark to outsiders and a conviction to the organization that picked him. By his second full season as a starter in 2019, he was unanimous NFL MVP, the youngest unanimous MVP in league history at the time, after a season where he set the single-season rushing record for a quarterback, a record that had stood for nearly 2 decades before he obliterated it. And he didn't stop there. In 2023, Jackson won his second MVP award, becoming one of a small handful of players in NFL history.
23 AP Most Valuable Player presented by Invisalign is Lamar Jackson.
To win multiple MVPs by his mid-20s. Under his command, the Ravens offense became one of the most feared units in football, capable of running through you, throwing over you, and doing both in the same drive in ways defensive coordinators still struggle to game plan for. The numbers are not subtle. Jackson has the most rushing yards by a quarterback in NFL history through his age.
They break the huddle quickly. Jackson end zone. Touchdown! Zay Flowers!
His touchdown numbers, his efficiency, his ability to extend plays and turn busted protections into explosive gains, all of it places him in a tier of quarterback that the league has rarely seen. Some scouts and analysts have gone as far to call him the most talented athlete to ever play the position. Full stop, regardless of position.
Lamar, wide open. Nelson Aguilar, touchdown, Baltimore.
This is not a player whose greatness is in question. What's in question is everything that comes after the regular season ends. Here is the part of Lamar Jackson's career that gets brought up in every single conversation about his legacy, whether that conversation is fair or not. In 8 seasons as Baltimore's starting quarterback, Jackson has led the Ravens to the playoffs 5 times. 5 trips to the postseason for a team built in large part around what he does on the field. And across those 5 trips, the Ravens have advanced to exactly 1 AFC championship game. 1. Along the way, there have been losses that Ravens fans have had a long time to think about. An upset loss to the Titans as the top seed, a heartbreaking finish against the Bengals, a collapse against the Chargers. And in the year the Ravens finally broke through to the AFC championship, they ran directly into Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the same team that has occupied the throne for nearly this entire era. And and the season ended there. None of these losses are entirely on Jackson. Football is the most team-dependent sport in professional athletics, and championships are won and lost on special teams mistakes, defensive breakdowns, coaching decisions, and plain bad luck just as much as they are on quarterback play. Anyone who reduces a team loss to a single player is not being honest about how the game works. But here is the uncomfortable truth about how legacies get written in the NFL. Fair or not, the quarterback carries the weight of the result. Mahomes has 3 rings, and the conversation about his greatness has no asterisks. Jackson has 2 MVPs and a drawer full of franchise records, and the conversation about his greatness always eventually circles back to this: 2 MVPs, 1 conference championship game, 0 trips to the Super Bowl. And now, as the most important contract negotiation of his career plays out, that gap is about to get a lot more attention. Entering the 2025 season, the Ravens were considered by many to be Super Bowl favorites. The roster was loaded. The offense on paper looked as dangerous as it had ever been. Expectations were not just high, they were close to the ceiling. It did not go that way. Jackson missed time with multiple injuries over the course of the season. A hamstring issue, a back contusion, and the offense never found the rhythm everyone expected. For the first time in his career as a starter, Jackson posted a losing record. The Ravens finished 6-7 as a starting quarterback under center, struggled with consistency, and missed the playoffs entirely for the first time in years. The fallout was immediate and significant. Head coach John Harbaugh, the only head coach Jackson has ever played for, the architect of this entire era of Ravens football, was let go at the end of the season. Baltimore moved forward with a new head coach, Jesse Minter, and a new offensive coordinator, Declan Doyle. The infrastructure that Jackson had built his entire career around was suddenly gone. And in the middle of all this, the contract conversation kept running in the background. The Ravens, needing cap space to make other roster moves, restructured Jackson's deal in March of 2026, converting a huge chunk of his salary into a signing bonus, clearly nearly $40 million in cap room. It was a move designed to buy time. A long-term extension was the stated goal. It did not get done before free agency opened. Which means Jackson enters the 2026 season with a new coaching staff, a disappointing year behind him, an unresolved contract situation hanging over his future, and a quietly ticking clock. Without a new deal, Jackson can become a free agent after the 2027 season. Every part of that sentence is pressure. Combined, it is enormous. Let's talk about what is actually happening here, because it's easy to get lost in numbers and miss what they represent. Across the NFL right now, the quarterback market has exploded. Every time one elite quarterback signs a new deal, it resets the bar for the next one. Jackson's own owner, Steve Bisciotti, has been direct about it. The Ravens want to give Jackson a deal that mirrors the one he signed in 2023, just with a much bigger number attached. The expectation in league circles is that Jackson's next contract will push past the $300 million mark in total value, potentially making him one of the highest paid players in the sport's history at the moment he signs it. That is conversation number 1, the money conversation. And on its own, it is enormous. But underneath, it is conversation number 2, the championship window conversation. Every team that commits this kind of money to a quarterback is making a bet. The bet is not just that the player is good, it's that the years immediately following the signature are the years the team has its best chance to win it all. The Ravens aren't just paying for what Jackson's already done. They are paying in advance for a Super Bowl run that has not happened yet. And then there's conversation number 3, the one that doesn't show up in any contract clause, the legacy conversation, the one Jackson himself has to live with regardless of what the Ravens decide to pay him. Jackson is still in his prime. The arm, the legs, the football IQ, none of that is in question. But the championship windows in the NFL are not guaranteed to stay open. Rosters change. Coaching staffs change. Baltimore's already has. other contenders get better. The conference Jackson plays in includes Patrick Mahomes, a generational winner who has already proven he can end a season on the spot. Every year that passes without a Super Bowl appearance is a year that gets added to the ledger from Act 2. Lamar Jackson is about to be played like a player who has already proven everything. The only thing he hasn't proven is the thing everyone will remember most. So, what does Lamar Jackson actually need from the 2026 season? First and most simply, he needs to be on the field. The injuries that derailed 2025 weren't just bad luck in isolation. A quarterback whose game is built around explosiveness and improvisation carries more physical risk than a traditional pocket passer, and the wear accumulates. Staying healthy for a full 16-plus games isn't a guarantee for Jackson the way it might be for some of his peers. It is, in a real sense, step one. Second, the new staff has to work. Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle represent the first real system change of Jackson's career. New systems take time to install, and chemistry between a quarterback and a new offensive coordinator doesn't happen overnight. But it also represents an opportunity, a fresh scheme, built with Jackson's specific skill set in mind from day one, designed by people who have studied what worked and what didn't in the years before. If it clicks early, it could unlock something the previous staff hadn't found. If it doesn't, the pressure compounds fast. Third, and this is the part that is genuinely out of Jackson's hands, the roster around him has to hold up. Every great quarterback needs protection up front, playmakers who can win one-on-one matchups, and a defense that can get him the ball back. The front office spent the offseason making moves specifically designed to build that support system. Whether those moves pay off in real games is a different question entirely. And fourth, when the postseason arrives, and if Baltimore's roster is what it's supposed to be, it should arrive, Jackson needs one of those games. The kind of performance that becomes the new headline. The kind of game where 20 years from now, highlight packages start with this season instead of skipping past it. None of this is guaranteed. All of it is possible. And all of it is happening while a $300 million decision sits on the table, waiting to be finalized. A decision that both sides know will be easier to make and easier to justify if 2026 looks different than 2025 did. Here is what I keep coming back to when I think about Lamar Jackson heading into 2026. The money was never really the question. The Ravens have made it clear they intend to pay him, and they have the cap flexibility to make it work. Jackson's made it clear he wants to stay in Baltimore, the only organization he's ever known. Barring something unexpected, the contract gets done. $300 million, give or take, lands in some form. That part of the story is close to settled. The real question, the one that no signing bonus changes, is what happens after the ink dries. Because here's what's true about every era-defining quarterback who came before. Nobody remembers the contract numbers. Nobody talks about Mahomes' cap hit when they talk about his legacy. They talk about the rings. They talk about the games. They talk about the moments where the biggest stage meant the biggest performance, and something got decided that can never be undone. Lamar Jackson has the talent for those moments. He has had it for years. What he hasn't had yet is the result. And 2026 arrives with almost everything in flux. A new coaching staff, a retooled roster, a fresh system, a wounded year behind him that nobody in Baltimore wants to repeat, and a contract that will, fairly or not, raise the size of every question being asked about it. This is part of a great career where the story either turns or it doesn't. 2 MVP awards. A franchise transformed. A contract that will make him one of the highest paid players in football history. And one thing still missing. The $300 million question was never really about the money. It was always about what comes next. Drop a comment. Does Lamar Jackson get a Super Bowl run in 2026? Or is the window starting to close? And is he worth $300 million regardless of what happens? We're tracking this one all season, so make sure you're subscribed and the bell's on. This story is just getting started.